What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I'm here to rank every song on Taylor Swift's Reputation. So we're going to be ranking every song on the album from worst to best. I have a review up on the album, and I have also re-ranked. I had already previously ranked her albums, but I re-ranked all of her albums with Reputation being on it. And just quick recap before we're going to start getting right into this list. I'm going to be breaking down each song a little bit more in depth and really talking about why I think they're in the placement that I'm putting them in. But just, to recap, I really like Reputation. I like it more and more every single time I listen to it. I think I'm just getting more used to Taylor Swift's new sound. And there's still some weaker songs on there. We're going to talk about them in this list overall. But this is a very good album. But with that in mind, I still would keep it exactly where I have it in the rankings. It's just my opinion. We can have these opinions. I'm not saying it's a bad album. I love Taylor Swift. I love all her albums. Don't take it as a negative the Reputation is that low. It's really good. It's just I think she's got some amazing, elite level, perfect even, albums. So here we go. We're going to be ranking every song on Reputation. Starting with number 15 is going to be Dress. Now, I don't like Dress that much. It's not that I don't like it. I like her voice in it. I like her higher pitched voice. It sounds a lot like I Don't Want to Live Forever in a way. But, just the repeating part of, I only bought this dress so you could take it off. That's really probably the highlight of the song. That's probably what's the most memorable when you're thinking about the song. The story's pretty solid, and the music is nothing truly special. The beat in the background, it's kind of a pretty normal-ish song. There's not too many effects done to her voice, which I do kind of like, but just the message, and there's nothing super catchy about it. It just doesn't do anything for me, and for that reason, I would put it as my least favorite song on this album. Number 14 is Endgame. Now, I would have originally said Endgame would be my least favorite song, but I actually do enjoy it, and I honestly would say, of all these songs, Dress is probably the only one that I would almost consider skipping. Like, when I'm listening to the album, I would probably think about skipping the song Dress. I'll still listen to it, and it's not a bad song, but that's the only song. Every other song in this album is very good, and it's going to get very difficult to put them in an order, and I would definitely want to know your orders of all the songs as well. And again, this is just my opinion. These songs were all very good. This is going to start getting difficult. But Endgame is number 2. And like I said, originally I didn't like it. I would say I did not like the song. But as I listen to it more and more, I really like every single part of Endgame a lot. Except for Future's rap part. I really don't like that. But I really like the beginning when Taylor Swift's saying, like, I want to be your endgame. I really like that. I like Ed Sheeran's rap. I think it kind of falls apart towards the end. He has a way when he's singing, and even singing fast, to kind of mask his accent. It's not like I don't like his accent, but it sounds like his accent's like overstrained towards the very end. When he says, my reputation precedes me, from there on, his part just isn't that good. It is really good in the beginning, and then Taylor Swift's rapping part I think is excellent, as well as just all the middle sections of when she's actually singing. I think it's really well done. I like a lot of the effects they've done to their voices. I just don't really care about Future at all, and I think that definitely holds the song back overall. Don't Blame Me is next, and Don't Blame Me is a good song. Again, these are all really good songs. Don't Blame Me is more of a louder, in-your-face kind, and I compare it even to like a gospel-ish kind of, it's got that kind of tone to it. Just like when I hear it, it's weird that I hear that when that song plays. But I like the song. I like its message. Really Taylor Swift kind of defending her choices and what's really happened to her over the past couple of years, and being like, don't blame me, love made me crazy, and all that stuff. And I do like that. And she's kind of, she's taking the hits that she's been given, right? But at the same time, it's like she's saying to us, well, you can't blame me. Like, well, look what I was presented. I do like that. I think it's very strong lyrically. I think it is again, more kind of like in your face. Not really, maybe even like a pop anthem kind of song is what I would kind of consider it, and a pretty darn good one. I think it maybe suffers a little bit because it comes after a song that I do really like, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So I think it kind of falters after that, and at this point, this is the 4th song into the album, and we've already had this would be the 2nd song that's kind of like a mixed rating by me. So maybe that kind of holds it back, not being in the stronger section of the album, which I definitely think the middle and end of this album it gets much better as the album goes on. Delicate is next, and I really like Delicate. This is definitely, when it gets to each one of these songs, is very, very good, and you could definitely, in my opinion, from Delicate onward in the songs I'm going to list next, you can mix these up 1 or 2 spots each, and I think your list would be almost identical to mine. I really like Delicate. Kind of when she goes into like the whispering phase, when she's talking about, is it chill that I'm in your head and all that stuff, that part of the song, every time she goes back to that, I think she goes back to that 3 times, I really, really like that. And again, I like the message. It's like she wants to be with this person, her boyfriend, but you know, she's not really sure where to draw the line. Like, she kind of wants to move fast and things are going really, really well, but like, are you sure that you want me to do this? You sure you want me to do that? Because I know it's delicate, and that's basically what she's going at. And I do like that. It kind of shows self-awareness from her. I really like her voice throughout this entire song. I like the beat and the way they change her voice with the effects. This is a very good song, and you know, this is really, I think, when the album starts to turn. This is the 5th song on the album, and this is when we start to, I think, really get to some good songs and turn the direction of the album around, because again, you know, my favorite song, we'll get to it, is pretty early on in the album, but I think as we get to songs, you know, 5, 6, 7, and we keep going, they get way more consistent while also being very, very different from each other, which I really like. Coming in at number 11 is King of My Heart. Now, like I said in the review, I actually really like King of My Heart. I think it's a actual really, really good song. Probably one of the better songs on the album. I like it lyrically. I don't think it's the strongest song. I think she has written stronger songs on this very album. But it is pretty strong, and I love her voice throughout almost the entire thing, except for when they really go electronic, and it's basically not even her singing, where it's really like the voice effects have just been, you know, the lever has been turned on, and it really only does that at the very end, when she says, King of my heart, oh whoa, oh whoa, when she says that at the very end, not the parts in as the song's going on, when it's kind of a good mix between her and then also a higher pitched her on top of herself, and the effects. I really actually enjoy that. It actually works really well with the song, but the very end, when it's just simply musical effects on her voice. Like I said in the review, I think that's a song that people can go back to and kind of criticize her for being like, oh, see, she can't sing, she uses all these effects, and we know that that's clearly not true, but this is a song that I guess you could start to make the argument that that's the case, and I don't like that she even opened up the possibility for people to, you know, bring that conversation in, because when's another time you could really say that she's done that? You can't say that in any of the past 5 albums. But overall, the song is really, really good. I think it'd actually be higher. It'd be way higher if it weren't for, I think, just a little bit. Coming in at number 10 is This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. Now, when I first listened to the album, the very first night at 12:03, when my iTunes finally freaking updated, this was one of the songs that definitely stood out for me early on, and I think if you would have asked me that first night, you know, at like 12:55 when I finished listening to the album the first time, what is my, you know, what's maybe a hidden gem, what's my favorite song even, besides maybe the obvious one, I would have probably said This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. Since then, I think it's dropped, and I think other songs have progressively just done more to me, and I've warmed up to them, and they've moved up. Not to say this isn't a good song. This song is very different. I like the weird sounds in this. I like the whole whoa in the background that they do. I like the bell hit that they do, and I like Taylor Swift's kind of like sassiness of really everything she's saying. You know, obviously talking a lot about Kanye, but when she's saying This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, baby, and that whole verse, I really, really like that. I think this is one of the most creative songs she's ever made, and I think it works extremely, extremely well. Again, the only thing that's really holding it back is I liked it a lot the very first time. I do like its diversity and how I think it's definitely the most different song on the album. You can make that argument for a couple songs on this album, though, that there's some songs that are just plain different than the rest of them. This is definitely one that stands out. And while I know she's done the whole, you know, talking in her songs and laughing in her songs before, this one is just a little bit different. I like hearing her laugh, and you can imagine like that smile on her face, and that's like cute. But for this song, I think it made sense in the context of this song, but in a way it doesn't. In a way, the song with her voice, with her talking, and then saying, yeah, I can't even say that with a straight face, and how she laughs at the, you know, at the end of that, I think when you put all that together and you throw it on this album, it just seems out. It just seems like off. It seems like it doesn't belong. I think honestly that is what holds it back. Plus, you know, it has a really, I think lyrically it's very, very strong. Diversity, music-wise, her voice is very, very good. But I do think there's just quite a few songs that are just downright better than it. But this is definitely a song that I really, really enjoy listening to. Number 9 is Look What You Made Me Do. Now, I think you could switch Look What You Made Me Do with a couple songs in here. I really like it. I mean, you know, it's the first song we ever heard from her, from Reputation. I like them. This is obviously when we heard, you know, the old Taylor Can't Come to the Phone Now, Why She's Dead. This is a big statement song about, you know, really about her reputation and about where she's been and the awareness that she's had. I really do like her voice overall. Obviously, the music video with the multiple Taylor Swifts and stuff. Very, very smart song. Very catchy, I even think, when she's saying, look what you made me do. I do like that. I think that could probably get on some people's nerves and maybe be so different and be so repetitive that she does say it quite a few times. I think that could annoy people. I do definitely like the song. I don't think it's the best song on the album, but and I don't think I expected it when I went in. I was hoping this wouldn't be the best song of the album because I like it, and I do like it more and more every time I listen to it. And that's the same thing for all 4 of the singles that she released before the album. It's the same thing for all of them. But for sure, I wasn't going into this album saying I'm expecting Look What You Made Me Do to be the best song. I was hoping it would fall kind of in the middle, and there'd be like these hidden gems to overpass it, and that's exactly what we got. Because number 8 is I Did Something Bad. And now I Did Something Bad is definitely a song that I think can rise up the ranks, in my opinion. I originally had I Did Something Bad at number 11, but now it is number 8. And that's just for the plain reason that I keep listening to it, and I like it more and more and more. To be honest, the very beginning when she's saying, I never trust a narcissist, but they love me, and like the weird, kind of like eerie background music that doesn't really get me, but when she says, I did something bad, but why does it feel so good, and it's going that really in-your-face beat in the background, and they change her voice, and you hear her kind of like even scream over herself at certain parts of the song, especially towards the end, you know, when she does the overlaying, and she has a higher pitched voice on top of just her normal voice. I do really like that, and I think this song works really well. I read an article like the first night that said like this is the poppiest song on the album. I don't think it is. I think there is another song that's more poppy, or at least reminds me more of her pop style than this. But this song definitely is rising up the ranks. It's very catchy. It's very in your face. I mean, it's going after all of these people: Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, Calvin Harris, and Tom Hiddleston. So, you know, this is just her saying what she feels. This is her, you know, they're burning all the witches, even if you aren't one. I really like how they do her voice and that, and how she moves her pitch at when she says they aren't one. I really, really like that. That does get me every single time, and obviously that was kind of referenced in the Ready For It music video, They're Burning All the Witches. So this song overall is extremely good. I know people were saying when it first came out that this is one of their favorite songs. It's kind of that song that as soon as you listen to, you're like, yeah, there's something that stands out. A friend of mine, she said that it was a song that definitely stood out for her as well, so I can see it, and I definitely agree. This is one of the better songs on the album. Number 7 is So It Goes, and this is another song. This song, in a little bit of a ways, reminds me of I Did Something Bad. At points, it actually still has the same kind of voice effect and the way that she moves her voice in a really quick fashion in So It Goes. I really, again, like the part where she says, so it goes, and she it's kind of louder. I really like the song. I think it is again, it is kind of a catchy song. It is kind of in your face. And like I said, more than anything, it does remind me a little bit of I Did Something Bad. There's just something about So It Goes literally in that phrase. I think it's literally just that phrase that gives it the heads up over I Did Something Bad. I do eventually see I Did Something Bad overpassing it, though, in the future. Number 6 is Call It What You Want. And, you know, I think if you watch each review that I did of the songs leading up to Reputation, Call It What You Want, I said was the worst of the 4 songs that we had gotten. And clearly by my rankings, I think it's better than Look What You Made Me Do now. So, you know, you could ask Alex, what's up? I think the song has definitely grown on me. I really like her voice on it. Like I mentioned in the review, it's simple but nice beat. When you listen to it by itself, I think it is a little too plain and maybe a little too generic, but when you listen to it in the context of the album, and really that's what this is, I think the album pretty much is put together in a really nice way. We can talk about that in future videos, but you know, I think this being the 14th song right before the last song of the album, it kind of it gets a little slow. It starts, you know, this is right after, This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. This is after a couple of those later songs. but really the faster, when she's really being experimental with beats, that's in the beginning and middle. And then even, towards the end, it starts to slow down a little bit, right? Dress. And so you get Dress, you get Call It What You Want. And so I think in the context of the album, Call It What You Want definitely works really well. It's a breath of fresh air where you're like, okay, it's time to, kind of calm down. It's a really nice voice by Taylor Swift. She does a fantastic job singing in this album, yeah, in general, very, very good, but also in the song, she's super good. And it kind of gets you ready for the very last song of the album, which I think is personally one of the best songs on the album. So Call What You Want, definitely way better than I originally said. I'm absolutely positive of that. Number 5 is Getaway Car. So this is right in the middle. This is right after So It Goes, and this is a faster pace, very different kind of, it's kind of like a heist story-wise, at least, talking about, being able to get in a getaway car and eventually she turns on the person she's with. I personally think referring as Tom Hiddleston. There's a couple references in the song that it probably is him she's talking about, but I really do like its catchiness. I do like how she says getaway car and how she uses that throughout the entire song. And again, it plays with her singing on top of herself and her hitting higher notes and lower notes, and there's not a ton of effects, and you'll notice this. As we kind of get on through my list, you'll notice my favorite songs tend to be the ones that don't have a lot of effects on her voice. Call What You Want is pretty much just her, and I really like that, and I think she's still there, the old Taylor Swift, and I really like hearing just her voice. I have nothing against the effects, and like I said, King of My Heart, I think most of the time does it really, really well. A lot of the songs do it really well, but I do just like hearing her normal voice. We've heard it for 5 albums now, and I still enjoy hearing it. Number 4 is New Year's Day. So this is the last song on the album. There's a lot to like about this song. I think this continues her tradition of really good final songs on albums. Like I said in the review, I really like kind of the disjointed piano where kind of like the last note is not as loud as the first one. It's like, and then she hits like 2 notes right off the bat. It's really nice and loud. It's in a synchronization, and then it kind of gets like disjointed, and that's part of just the progression of her playing, and I do really, really like that, and that's just the musical aspect. From a song perspective, there's, I think, 0 done on her voice. It's just her voice, and I really, really like that. I really like when she's saying, hold on to the memories, they will hold on to you. That's my favorite part of the song. That's really good, and that's when you get another version of her singing on top of herself, but both versions have no effects done to her voice, which is different than a lot of the other songs. I Did Something Bad, even Delicate, or songs like that. A lot of times the overlaying voice will be her, but the voice that, is maybe a little bit more like in your face, that does have some effects done on it. And this song, New Year's Day, both voices are just her, and I think it's really down to earth. It's a little bit slower, it's a little bit more quiet, it's a little bit more personal, it's just her. And I really like that, and I really like how it closes out the album with that. I think placement-wise, that's a fantastic place for it. As soon as I saw that name, New Year's Day, I texted my friend, I said, that's an interesting name, I think that's going to be a really good song, and I was definitely right. I was definitely eyeing that from the second I saw it. Number 3 is Gorgeous. So Gorgeous, again, was my second least favorite song of those 4 songs of her singles, of Ready For It, Look What You Made Me Do, Gorgeous, and Call What You Want. But Gorgeous has definitely jumped up, all the way to number 3. Her voice, again, almost completely untouched in this song, which is a really big reason why I like it. Her voice and the lyrics are super, super good in the song. And the beat is a lot of the kind of, lower, it's not in your face, kind of like Call What You Want, but I think just a little bit more, not catchy, but just more like engaging than Call What You Want, which I think gives it that extra layer. But I definitely love her voice in Gorgeous. I think the way she actually sings. Also, she seems to have more energy in Gorgeous compared to Call What You Want, and I think that's done for definite reasons why one sounds more energetic than the other. But Gorgeous, I think, over time has just easily became one of my favorite songs, and probably could be swapped with my number 2. I think my number 2 and number 3 could definitely switch. So my number 2 is Dancing With Our Hands Tied, and I really like this. I really like the fast-paced nature of it when she's actually singing the chorus. I really really like that. And then obviously when she's singing Dancing with Her Hands Tied, I really like that too. It's a very, very catchy song. It, again, doesn't have a lot done to her voice. I like both. I like verses and the choruses of this song. And sometimes in some of these songs, I only like one half of those. But in this song, I like both. I love its message. Again, I talked about this in the review, being like, you know, talking about really her boyfriend, and saying like, you know, we love each other, and we, you know, you met me in secret, right? That's when that's part of the lyrics of that song. And when they're trying to like have a good time, but she's kind of worried about the relationship because she knows if people kind of see it and publish it and talk about it, that can definitely damage it and or break it off completely. And so she's a little worried. And the song's title, Dancing with Our Hands Tied, really is great symbolism and a great wording because, you know, they're having fun and they're enjoying each other's company, but their hands are kind of tied, right? They can't do everything they want, and they do have to be careful. And I really, really like that message. It's a great piece of storytelling and really like explains, I think, how she's feeling or how she has felt over the past, year and a half she's been dating him. And I think that's really cool to be able to see from her perspective. I think this song kind of amplifies what she feels about being with Joe Alwyn the most of all of these songs, which I definitely like. And my final song, the best song on Reputation, is Ready For It. This song, when it first came out of the 4 songs, was easily my favorite. I had said that from the very beginning. Ready For It was my favorite song. And, you know, going into the album, hearing it as the first song, it's a great placement of the first song, really getting you ready for the album. And, you know, going through the album, I want to say there's songs that are better than it. You know, I wanted there to be songs that were better than that. I wanted there to be those kind of hidden gems. And songs like Getaway Car and I Did Something Bad and Delicate and New Year's Day and like I said, all these songs, Dancing with Her Hands Tied, they're very, very good. And they emerged as I was listening to the album as really good songs, those hidden gems I wanted. But none could really dethrone Ready For It. Ready For It is such a catchy, fast-paced, in-your-face song where, you know, it is kind of like this mix of rap. It's not exactly endgame level rap, but it's close, but it's not exactly, and I really like it. Again, Taylor Swift really didn't have a lot of effects done to her voice on this one, and I definitely like that. I think overall this is just a masterpiece of a song. Not just the best song on this album, but I think one of the best songs she's ever made, which eventually I will make the list of the best songs that Taylor Swift has ever made. It's very, very difficult to rank any. I wanted to do originally a top 10, then I'm thinking now top 20, but I don't even know if that's giving enough credit. It's very hard to rank the best songs Taylor Swift has ever made. So those are my rankings for Reputation. Again, let's go through them really, really fast. Dress, Endgame, Don't Blame Me, Delicate, King of My Heart, This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, Look What You Made Me Do, I Did Something Bad, Call It What You Want, Getaway Car, New Year's Day, Gorgeous, Dancing with Our Hands Tied, and Ready For It. That is my final list. Let me know in the comments below what your rankings of all the songs in Reputation are. We're going to have another video out tomorrow. I kind of want to talk about the album and kind of the criticism she's been getting for it in general. I kind of want to defend her, even though she doesn't need defending by me. But I kind of want to talk about the album and really her in general in that video. And then, again, we're going to be continuing with these Taylor Swift videos every single Sunday for the next quite a while. I want to continue it as long as you guys will watch it. So as long as you do support me and continue watching these videos, I will continue to make, you know, listings, ranking videos, talking about Taylor Swift and her music in general. So I really appreciate you guys watching these videos so far. Please continue watching so I can, you know, continue to tell Tyler, yes, I am making these videos and you can't tell me otherwise. And I will see you guys on the next Taylor Swift video.